Yes, let's get lengthy. Yes, guys, we are back after a 1 week hiatus, and we are back with a bang. We are back talking all things EAFC or FC24, how absolutely woeful and shameful this fucking company are, but also how bloody brilliant this Black Friday Thunderstruck Footies 2.0 promo is that we've got at the moment. Well, in my opinion, anyway. I cannot lie, I have been absolutely ruining the menus, absolutely smashing them, but also smashing Spider-Man 2 gameplay. I've not played champs. I qualified, went 4-1, quit the rest, took the packs, got nobody, turned the game off, and went swinging through a NYC, kicking the proverbial shit out of a bunch of bad guys instead. Way more fun. But last night, gentlemen, something truly magical happened. I couldn't sleep. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. I was grinding some menus on my phone. The missus was passed out next to me. And I forgot I hadn't opened my preview pack. And anyone that follows me on Twitter will know what happened next. Open the bastard and out pops Trailblazers Caroline Graham Hansen. Nearly 1.8 million coins in the bank, and I am absolutely set for Team of the Year. But gentlemen, let's get into it. Azza, how are you doing after your week off? Do you feel refreshed, mate?
I'm refreshed at the thought of you swinging through New York and leotard.
Yeah, baby.
Very refreshed at the thought of that. But yeah, nice to go unbeaten in champs for the first time. Really happy that happened. Nothing to do with me playing 0 games, but everything's good. I jumped on yesterday, got some SBCs and stuff done, so I feel like I'm now getting into the Black Friday a little bit later than everyone else, but feeling very good, feeling very healthy.
Too busy bringing random birds back to your house, mate. Shane, what about you, mate?
I'm tired, mate. I've been grafting, trying to get King Kenny in. He's finally done, and I've gone and seen the missus and kids again. But yeah, I'm raging at the game again, and I shouldn't be, because I promised myself I'd never do it again, but the gameplay is just torture at the minute.
The addiction is real, mate. The addiction is real. Mouse, how are you, mate?
Yeah, champs was... what did I go to? I went to 6 wins because I just couldn't bear any more of it, to be honest. The gameplay was so inconsistent. But the Thundercunt promo has been really good. I've packed absolutely shed loads, to be honest, so far. So it's been really good. But my health is not in a great state. I'm dying currently. The whole house has been dying, so it's not been a very fun experience for the last, about 5 days. So I need some help desperately.
Well, as you can tell by the fact that Mouse is talking a little bit like this, it sounds a bit like you need a doctor. But luckily for you, we have got one right here. Somebody that might be able to diagnose the problem. This man's a tactical genius, a man that has recently partnered with Kim Pembro after throwing out one hell of a 4-1-2-1-2 tactic. He's a man that's probably still erect over that Alejandro Garnacho fucking worldie that he scored the other day. It's the Fut Doc himself. JP, how are you doing, sir?
Do not fear, people. The Fut Doc is here. Mouse. I'm not a vet, but I can help you. Okay? Do not fear these things. You guys can't see the screens right now, but I can see 1, 2, 3 ill people and a Bond villain. And the first thing that comes to my mind is that you were talking about packs and Shane being off. I always think about Shane being like one of those 17th century people in North America, where he just goes off with the mixed leagues SBCs, and he's like, if I shan't return by winter, do not mourn me, and then he just turns up later and he's like, I got Bernardo Silva again, I can finish King Kenny. No, it's a privilege to be here, mate. It's absolutely buzzing. You guys are amazing. I love your pod, and I love you guys in the content that you produce and the way that you act on Twitter, the way you act socially, and just who you are as people. So it is good to be here. Thank you for being so complimentary about the tactics. I'll get into the story about why they happened in a bit if you want. But yeah, it's a privilege to be here, and you're all just so long. I didn't realise it's the girth of you all that shocks me. I was expecting the length, but I'm intimidated by the girth of the show.
What's incredibly funny about that is every single one of our misses has said the exact same thing. Oh wait,
They've said it to
sorry,
me as well.
as sorry, mate. I shouldn't really say that, should I?
I was about to say which one of ours is.
Which one?
Yeah.
did you speak
Yeah,
to?
which one?
Right, I think we've got to get it. We've got to dive into it. JP, man, you're pretty famous at the moment. That 4-1-2-1-2-2 tactic has fucking popped off. How long were you working on it? How did it come about, mate? Like, it's
Right.
completely popped off.
So you've got like all these amazing people like Div 10 and Alexion and they're all putting out these amazing tactics and stuff, and they're milking them for interactions, and they're doing everything they can, and I just looked at it all and just went, fuck, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I can't do anything in a 4-3-3. I don't really like doing 5-backs. Like, what the fuck can I do? So I went and looked, and everybody's playing these narrow formations. Everybody's playing direct passing. Everybody's trying to cut out the middle of the pitch. And basically, what I thought was like, okay, what's everybody else doing? I'm just going to go the complete opposite direction. You're going to play narrow. I'm going to play wide. You're going to play fast-paced game. I'm going to play a fast-paced possession game. And it starts out as kind of like a complete fucking mess. Like, so everything's attacking. Like, oh, the fullbacks attack, the midfielders attack, everything attacks, and then you pass it off to somebody to test, and they're just like, dude, what is this? Like, he started off with 100 width in defense as well. So like that's not feasible, man. Like, you think you're doing really well, and then all of a sudden one pass just cuts you open, which it still does with this formation anyway. But yeah, it sort of came about through wanting to be different and do something different, which is what inspired me last year with the 4-3-3. It was like, I don't want to play the game the way they say. I want to play it the way I want to. And the way that I want to play the game is with a bit of pace, a bit of enthusiasm, and being able to use skillful footballers that can do good passing for me. Like, skills are great, and if you do skills and that's a big part of your game, respect. My game's about creating space and opening people up. So the 4-1-2-1-2, it gave me this great opportunity to essentially minimize the number of people in the midfield, because when you've got any tactic that involves the midfield, you've got a lot of players in a congested area, and trying to pass the ball to your wingers or to your central midfielders from defence is really difficult. So I thought, well, let's get rid of the wingers, and then that way there's more passing options going forward. And then having a cam, I always love having a cam no matter what system, because it's almost like you have this sort of creative free player. Whereas in this system, the player's kind of a bit more controlled. It's almost a bit like Scholes was at United. Like, you get forward, but you're also coming back on defence. Like, you've got a job, but defensively you've got to be sound. So it was really just a big inspiration, fueled by the opposite of what everybody else was doing. That's the kind of the genesis of it and where it came about. Did you ask me about how long it took?
Yeah. How long did it take?
So they start off. Any tactic you start off with is normally just like fanciful, because normally it's because you're getting slapped in champs or something, and you're just like, this game's broken. So you go away. Probably from like sitting down with it to getting it out, probably about 2 weeks. That's from like me creating it, and I only had like 2 or 3 people test it, because I had a load of tactics stolen once from like a Discord where, like, like where tacticians share stuff and things like that, and then all of a sudden a load of stuff came out, and it was literally everything that I was going to do, but before I'd done it, and it was like, I don't really want to share this. So I shared it with a few people of different levels, like people who were getting 18s in champs, people who are not qualifying, and they came back with really positive feedback. And the thing that I got the most of was like, it's not real football. So you've got to manage your expectations here, and you've got to defend. You've got to just make the most of the defending, and just basic on your defending, and then try and be expansive in attack. Movement of players to create space. Bertie, you coach football teams. That's probably one of the things you preach the most, isn't it? About creating the space for the player to go into.
Yeah, it is. You're spot on. I mean, my lads are quite old compared to a lot of the Sunday sides we play, and it's not as serious on a Sunday morning. But you still want to win. You want to do stuff that's going to make you win. I'm one of them people that hate losing, so I'll do what I can to win. I mean, you're playing a game, so if people say it's not football, it doesn't matter because it's a game and people abuse the meter on here anyway. So if it works for you, I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, and with the meta, like you're just constantly trying to counter that. So you like if people are playing small centre backs, you want to start playing lengthy, tall strikers up front. If people are playing sort of non-footballing CDMs, you kind of want to pressure and abuse that footballer, put them under pressure to win the ball back. So the tactics kind of set up that way, both in defence and attack. Have any of you guys had a chance to use it, or got any complaints about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of these people that I just think whatever formation I use, I'll get what wins I get anyway. Yes, it'll help me enjoy the game more, which I thought it did because I was playing football. But I tried to play football on this game, and I just think that the gameplay don't allow, like the stuff that happens in the matches, don't really allow you to play the way you want to anyway. Like I like to pass the ball around and play football, but you'll string 3 passes together on here, I find, and then it'll just do a ridiculous one and you lose the ball, and it's like, what is the point?
But what are your pass settings?
I'll find out. I'll have a look now.
Because I changed my passing from assisted to semi, and I've noticed that my passes go to who I want them to go to. I don't have any of those, those weird sort of 3-yard passes that look like it's sort of come off the bottom of the stud.
Yeah,
it's called the Azza pass.
In all honesty, I probably don't look into that sort of thing as much as I should. I think if I delved into it a bit more, then it would probably make me a better player.
Switching to semi was definitely good for me.
Made a big difference to my game. I don't know who. I think the pros started doing it.
I'm not sure I've seen it on Twitter, and switching to semi gave me a semi because it was like night and day. Honestly, the difference was incredible.
A semi's a downgrade for you, Azza. But I've used it, Doc. So I actually said to you that my only concern what I had with it was the cam. I like my players to be semi where I know they're going to be. So I took the cam off, come back just for the sheer fact. It's just my personal preference that I prefer to. I need to know where my players are.
So the passing, my ground pass is assisted. Is that the one you're on about?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's just as assisted.
If you change it to semi,
then
you should find your passes going to people.
Would that be the same with like cross and lob pass as well?
No, they've got their own settings, so they're set to assisted, semi, and all that kind of stuff.
See, because they're on assisted as well.
I've got my lob pass on semi. My ground pass, like JP said, they're on semi. Because that's what through ball is by default as well, isn't it? Through ball isn't assisted. So I was like, why not just drop this to the same as through ball? Because it surely can't be that much worse. And it just turned out to be a lot better, to be fair. A lot more accurate.
I might have to look into that as well.
Yeah, I ain't got a fucking clue what I've got on, to be honest. Like I've said before, I hardly play the game. So that must be why my preview pack was so fucking good, because I'm never on the bloody game. So having you on, JP, as we said before, massive pleasure, mate. But we wanted to just have a kind of good old chat with you about the game, and especially about your tactics and how much effort and work you have to put in to make your tactics as effective as they are, right? So I have prepared a 10-question quiz just for you. The rest of the lengthy lads have to sit and listen like good schoolboys. And hopefully the listeners can get like a deeper insight into the world of tacticians. But we're going to go just with the world of JP to start with. So my first question to you is, when did you start to play FIFA?
1994.
The first one.
The first one. I got rid of my. I put in the loot that I was willing to exchange a Super Nintendo for a Mega Drive with plenty of games because you could only get Striker on the SNES. So I went and got FIFA, and I've never looked back apart from 1 year when I got Pro Evo because FIFA 2008 was like too bad. Like that game was so poor that it forced me into playing Pro Evo for a couple of years.
And yet 2009 was legendary.
Was it?
Yeah, of course it was.
09 was class.
09 was legendary, mate. First Ultimate Team.
Say,
Obviously,
yeah.
you had to pay for it, I think.
1,600 Microsoft points.
Yeah, little. But the game itself, 09 was the one where it was near post OP, right? And I think, and Middlesbrough had that Brazilian striker. I've forgotten his name. His name escapes me. And he was an absolute joke on the game. If you hit the ball near post, it went in every single time. I remember sitting in my bedroom. I think I just had a loft conversion in my parents' house. It was like a bachelor pad at the age of 14, and it was absolutely sick. And I was just there smashing FIFA 09. Oh, I say bachelor pad. I don't think I know how to speak to women at 14. But second question, JP. What has your experience of FC24 been so far?
Ooh, that's a difficult one because the experience has been very up and down. I think that the beginning of the game on pre-release, it was very good. And I think everybody got a good level of enjoyment out of it. And then when the game came out, it seemed that more people were unhappy with it than the core base. And then it sort of seemed that as soon as there were a lot of people playing the game got a bit funky, and then the classic EA patching started to come in, and then all of a sudden things feel weird or things feel overpowered. So my experience of it's been one of frustration that there's this just a massive amount of content of possible teams, of players, evolutions, all of these different things. But there's this massive paywall to it all that's just become almost like I don't know if it's me or if it's like people who maybe have been brought up on Ultimate Team, but like the Ultimate Team is this game that costs money and that you just pay 40, 50, 60 pound a month because it's your hobby. And then people equate it to the pub, or you buy coffee every day, and it's like, okay, granted, yeah, I do that. But when I buy that coffee, I know what I'm buying. I'm buying a coffee, and then I'm going to drink it and enjoy it. Whereas you're gambling on packs. And it's almost like that's become like the way to get things done, almost to the ridiculous levels of them being like, oh, you need his 81, his 50, 81 plus players because you need the fodder. Here's fodder packs because you need the fodder. And it's just the money grabbing on this has been so obscene that it's impacted my ability to enjoy the game.
Yeah, and I think you probably speak for all four of us saying that as well. I think it's an absolute outrage. The whole
100%.
the whole store pack thing. You know, I actually dread to think how many store packs we've got now. I haven't counted them, but
I rave about this. I rave about it constantly.
I
knew Black Friday would be bad, but it has been absolutely outrageous.
Crazy.
I mean, I've not backed it, but I've probably been the least bothered by it. But even I said to you guys the other day that it's out of control. I did see a stat. I think it was $2,500. At one point, there was $2,500 or something stupid. It was for all of the packs, which is just, even for me, that's fucking mental.
The thing is, they've added this promo pack thing, and then there's another one now as well.
Yeah. There's global limit, promo, and provisions. And you're like,
mental.
This just takes the biscuit now. Anyway,
JP, I was going to say a funny thing about that is though, like when you go and look at those global limit packs, they're almost an embarrassment to EA because
no one's buying them.
No one's buying them.
It's like 100,000, and you're like, oh man, I wonder if this is a good pack. And you come back 10 minutes later, and it's like 97,000. It's like 3,000 people just went, nah, bro, nah, skip it, man, skip it.
Speaking of packs, what's your best pack, Paul? been this this game cycle.
Wait,
Because I did see your tweet the other day. Was it yesterday? Maybe the day before? And you put out a squad of everything you'd packed in that day, and it was ludicrous.
it was the last 2 weeks what I'd packed. That was what I'd been. Yeah.
Right.
Wayne Rooney, absolutely. It could be Cristiano Ronaldo.
Who?
What is Trailblazer?
Yeah.
I take it.
Or maybe Van der Sar. I packed him.
He's so good.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a joke.
He's so good.
I went on a crazy packing spree.
Sounds like Shane. Every day.
Every day.
No,
Every day.
it just came together, man. There was just the 78 plus player picks were hot, like really, really hot. They were just delivering great stuff. Like that player pick is just a godsend because it's cheaper than the 81 plus double, and you get 2 player picks for the set for less cards.
Yeah,
It's just,
True.
it's just like, I always call it FIFA math. You know, when you come and you look at FIFA math and you go, why would anybody do this? Who's doing this?
Oh, people are thick as fuck, really, aren't they? So
Yeah,
they
generally
will be doing
speaking,
it.
they will be doing it.
That's why they stick it on the next
Above
page
it.
on the SBCs, because they want you to obviously do the 81 plus doubles, and
Yeah.
I'm a big victim for that. I won't go to the next page and look, but you're missing out. But
And
that's,
I don't know about you lot, but on mine on the app, you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the upgrade section to find the 78 plus player pick, whereas the 81 double is like the third one.
Not only that, we've got dynamic packs now. So the packs that you see in store won't be the same packs that other people see.
Yeah.
That's
insane.
some dark age shit, right?
That is mad, yeah.
You know, I wish they'd put as much money into making the gameplay better than they do in their social engineering team, because the way they have just marketed this game to every little detail to get as much pennies as possible from people.
I do get it to an extent because they are a business, but it genuinely angers me.
Oh, it's frightening.
How greedy and how like they force it in your face. Like there was over Black Friday, there's been notifications of we've got new Thor packs. Like
Yeah, I've seen them as well. Yeah,
and it's like Jesus Christ, give us a chance.
Yeah.
Well, they won't let you breathe. It's like if you either have to graft and be lucky, or you have to put your hand in your pocket, because you can't play your way to fodder anymore. You can collect some. If you want to go and do all the squad battles, if you want to go and do rivals, if you want to go and do weekend league, you might get enough cards to compare to the 60, 81 plus pack, if you're lucky. And then as soon as you get those cards and you throw them into SBCs, and you're like, I always call it like Hoodrich. Like, you know, like it's the first of the month. Like you get your welfare check. Like, and then you go on and you open all these packs and you're doing everything that you can. And then you realize that you've got no cards in your club. And then you start looking at the provision packs and you start thinking to yourself, what am I going to do? How do I get involved in the game? How do I take it further? And it's just a bit of a nightmare. Like you just don't know what to do. It's the big conundrum when it comes to buying cards off the store versus grinding stuff out through League SBCs like Shane does.
When I do what I do, like with Kenny, and I'll post about it and stuff, I always mention that you've got to be prepared to put the time in that in, because it does. It probably I spend way too much time on it, way more than I should as well. But you do, and that's why you get what you get at the end of it, because you put that much time and effort in. You have to. You have to if you want stuff like that. Unless you're prepared to just pay for it.
Which I'm not.
No.
You just wouldn't be able to.
No,
I couldn't afford my mortgage, mate, if I was doing that. Jesus.
No.
Let's get into some tactics questions then, Doc.
Go on.
Fourth question: how did you actually get into creating tactics and posting them on Twitter?
All right. So way back when, in like FIFA 98, FIFA 99, you could like change the teams in editing, and you could edit the formations, and you could slightly adjust the tactics in the sliders. So it kind of started from there as a way for me to like beat my dad. So like I would go and prepare these teams and set them up in a certain way and be like, haha, I'll play as Tottenham and you can be United. And then slap him with Tottenham and he's just like, how did you do that? So it kind of started off from there. And then getting into gameplay, like you start wanting to sort of play your own way. So you'd be playing the game and you might go and make a pass and the player's not making the run. And you're like, oh, I wish that player was just bombing forward to make that pass. Or you might be defensively overloaded where you're like, oh, I wish one of my fullbacks was a bit more contained in this moment so that I had 3-on-3 instead of 3-on-2. So it sort of starts from there. And then going into like other FIFAs, I would always keep them privately. I would never share them or anything because I was just like, who would care about somebody else's tactics? And then on Twitter, with my account last year, I just decided to post one of them because I was just destroying people, and I'd found like a nice little sort of like break in the game with lengthy strikers on the wings, and I got a lot of confidence from doing that, and the response from that was huge. So then that made me want to do more tactical stuff and become more involved in FIFA, and then over the last year, I've sort of gone from like 150 followers to like nearly 4,000. So things have just been picking up and accelerating, and it's just been really exciting seeing people have fun on a game that's notoriously known for not being fun. So
there's a problem in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like when you look at the tactics, you go, "What the fuck is this? 100 width? What is it doing? Why is it doing that?" And it's like it's almost like the game's written in like an ancient language that tells you to do things, and it's like, no, you have to do the opposite things to make the game work, and you have to fight against the game's dynamics to make the game work. And for me, that's just it shows that within the game there's massive tactical flexibility. It's just that they need to turn down the AI levels a little bit when it comes to defending, and turn up the AI levels a little bit when it comes to attacking. Not in the final third. I think in the final third, AI is still good, but in the first two, the attacking AI is abysmal, especially when trying to move the ball out from the back without hoofing it forward. So that played a big part in me wanting to make a good tactic for this year. I'd made a couple already, but they weren't. They were sort of like good for some people and then not so great for others. But this one it seems to have struck a chord with people and kind of given them a way to fight the back fives and sort of really hit that middle position of three centre backs with two strikers, a cam, and then a CM coming in. So you create this 4-on-3 overload. And then if they're playing a back four, you've got a 4-on-2 overload. So there's always a pass available and there's always an option for whichever direction you want to go. But it comes back to game limitations as well, because in football, we see that players are able to, like Thiago's a great example. And Thiago has that ability to twist his body to make a pass, like almost like to twist his hip to make his foot whip a bit more to make the ball go out. And we don't seem to have that in FIFA. So like sometimes you're running with the ball and you might go to pass it and it just sort of dribbles off your foot. And it's like, oh, this was the final pass in this crescendo moment of this artistic goal I was about to score. So I think it really just came from about wanting to play like that and not wanting to play like 10 back.
You want to play the Barcelona style of play?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. The Barcelona is a great example, really.
I think that's the what I mean. I haven't used the tactic, if I'm honest, but I was worried by the 100 depth. I was the width. Sorry, yeah. I was worried. I was worried by it. But you are selling it. So when I inevitably log on to FIFA in the next 3 weeks, whenever I actually fancy playing the game and I'm not obsessed with Spider-Man, then I'm definitely going to give it a go. I'm usually using like a 4-3-3 at the moment, and I'm finding that in the midfield there's just not enough options. So having a 4-1-2-1-2 hopefully should combat that. You've actually already answered my fifth question, which was how do you start creating the tactic? So by telling us that it's just through gameplay and understanding that you want that person to be there, so I'm going to do that on my tactic. I want that fullback to be back, or to be covering in, then obviously that's answered the question for us. But I know Shane's actually just dropped me a message in the group chat saying, I have a question for Doc that I'd like to ask. So Shane, go ahead. What's your question?
I did think about it, and then I forgot about it, and then I just remembered again.
Well, that's good.
How do you, like, because you're obviously big on the how do you think the game would be if custom tactics were like completely removed, and you just chose a formation and went into the game?
Well, I think that it would be incredibly basic. And I think that you would find that there would be one system of winning, and that one system would have to be patched with different formations that could counteract it. Because it's the tactics in game that allow you to sort of play with more invention. But on the other side of that, if you did remove tactics, work rates would become like the most important thing in the game, because you can tactically implement things without needing to use tactics by simply having a player that's got a high work rate at CM. Like, they're going to get forward, they're going to get back. That means that you don't have to tell them to get forward, and you don't have to tell them to get back. If you've got a medium high CDM, they're going to focus on defending, and they're going to be sort of at the front of the triangle in front of your two centre backs when there's any counter attacks. So I think that if the game could be adequately patched, that you might end up with a better game without tactics, focusing on work rates, and therefore making the most of like real world player abilities. Like, why was Park Ji-sung so important for United? He wasn't the greatest footballer, but he worked hard. So it's about having players like that in your team if you're not going to have tactics. Like Rooney, Griezmann, like they're real fight for the badge type players with that high work rate. So they just do great jobs wherever you put them on the pitch.
Okay, makes sense.
I think obviously going down to that. So obviously you're well aware that I use Sorloth.
What?
One of the key reasons I use him is because I know what he does in game. And I think the only part I've forgotten that this year, because last year I played 4-2-4 all year and it did exactly what I needed it to do. But I've only just started using him, obviously recently again after I got into 83. But I know what he's going to do. Like, I know where he's going to run. I know exactly where he's going to run, how he's going to run, how to hit his shots to get the best out of it. And I think I'm quite guilty this year of not playing to my players. I'm playing to formations and tactics and not playing to players, which is the complete opposite of what I did last year. So from my point of view, whether that I've just sort of, listening to you speak, that whether that is my option now that I go back to playing how the players played. So like last year I had Paulinho because I knew exactly how he played and I loved him in midfield and he was perfect for me. So yeah, maybe that's something I need to look at because, like you're saying, with less tactics, it's, then because you've got to look for other things inside the game. But, Sorloth highlights it to me because there's stuff he does in game that he shouldn't be able to do. Like if I was someone else playing against that card and I'm conceding 3 or 4 goals when it was an 83 Sorloth, he's got 62, what did we look at earlier? 62 agility and 60 balance.
Yeah.
Like, it's obscene. But I can go into a game and rip people to pieces in a matter of minutes with him. So, yeah, maybe that's something to consider, actually, for me.
Well, that's a really...
I mean, maybe... Go on, sorry, JP.
I was just saying it's a really interesting point you spoke about players, because I should have said this. Part of the reason that tactics get created is because you get players that you need to fit in your team. And you go, well, how am I going to get all these guys in? Like, so it was like, well, how am I going to fit in like all these players in this team? How am I going to make it work? Well, fuck it. Somebody's got to go there. And then all of a sudden the spark works. Like that LCM position was like, I need Rodrigo to go somewhere. And then I put Rodrigo there and it was like, oh, this is nice. Put Griezmann there. It was even nicer, so it was like, it was smooth like butter. And now I'm doing the fucking Gvardiol Evo because I've got to try and fit like Futre, Ronaldo, Muller, and Rooney into a team. So I've got to set up in a 3-4-3 to then go into a 4-1-2-1-2 with probably Rooney at LCM. But yeah, players make you change tactics because you go, oh, I need to get the best out of this guy. I just got this guy out of an icon pack and I've got to utilize him. So yeah, that is something that makes a massive impact. And you're right, players that you know, like you will consistently be excited about.
I was just about. It makes it. I find that using players that I want to use makes me play better as well. Like I've been using Makalele since I got him, and he was one of the most expensive icons. And he was good, but I was getting annoyed with him, and then I've packed that Thiago, and he's obviously a player I will love and want to use, and I'm finding I'm enjoying him a lot more than I was Makalele. I just find if I'm using players that I'm actually wanting to use and not forcing players in because of who they are, I enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, I completely agree. I absolutely loved Joe Cole last year, and his Trophy Titans card, it was like 20k, but he was absolutely class me. I loved him, and I packed him out of my first hero pack, and I was absolutely buzzing. He went in the team straight away, and he's not going to come out. He won't come out until I get somebody that's far better than him, just because I know how he plays. I know how good he is, right? I know what his strengths and weaknesses are. And I think obviously that paired with work rates, paired with tactics, is going to make your kind of experience on this game, or should should make your experience on this game better. Work rates are something that I actually don't seem to look at enough. I guess I just chuck players in where I want them to be. So I guess I'm a bit lazy with that one.
Do you ever find yourself attacking and just going, where the fuck is my midfield?
Every fucking game.
Oh, do you ever find yourself like with a striker and you're just like, why are you not running?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. Well, actually, who am I playing up front at the moment? I've got Marcus Rashford up front or Rafa Leao at the moment, and they're pretty decent.
I think they've got high and medium.
Mate, you're an encyclopedia.
I could just say it and people will believe it. It's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I believe you. So, when you are testing your tactics, how does that? What does it actually look like? How many games do you have to play? Do you have specific people that test your tactics for you? Do you just offer them out to your mates from the community? Like, how does it work?
Normally, it'll just be me. And I'll be like, I'll take him into rivals, and I'll be like, and I'll beat someone and be like, yeah, this is the one. And then I'll go in the next game and get beat 8-0. If you ever find yourself in rivals playing somebody and it's 8-3 and you don't know why they're leaving, they're either sycophants or they're testing tactics and trying to work out what's wrong. Like there's been loads of games where I've been getting slapped and then I've made it click. I'm like got 5 back. And the guy's like, why are you still here? It's like, I'm just testing tactics. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
Yeah. And then you take them into squad battles. You put it on legendary or ultimate, and you get your ass handed to you. And you find out where the holes are and where good players will exploit you with tricks and stutters and all those kind of things. And then from there, I'd then go and take that into champs qualification. And if I feel like I'm getting lots of good player movement and I'm not conceding too many goals, because you're always going to like people are always like, oh, I conceded this goal. And it's like, dude, tell me a game you didn't concede a goal. Like it's that kind of game. Like as soon as you score 3, you got 2 coming back, mate. Like just this is the way it is. I'll try them out, and if they're good and I feel defensively solid, then I might start like just asking random people like who I don't even really know, because I'm just like want to find people at different levels. So people might ask me for advice or something in a DM, and I'll eventually get back to them and be like, oh, would you mind having a look at this for me? Because I just always kind of like want like the normal man in the street opinion, because I don't really care if like pros shit on the tactics or if people are like, oh, I play 20-0 and I get it every week and these tactics would never get you there. But I have also had messages of people showing me the pictures from them getting 20-0 with the tactics, which is pretty sweet.
That's class. That's
good. But yeah, the process is mostly just getting beaten a lot, realizing you've made lots of mistakes, throwing a lot of shit in the bin. There are so many. The tactics bin is dirty. There's just so many bin tactics in there, man, and it's greasy and it smells. But mostly it's just about playing the game, trying to find a level of enjoyment, and then seeing whether or not it's just me having a good day and a good matchmaking. And if it is, then I have to bin it and start again. And if it's not and other people get success with it, then I'll release the tactics. But I generally don't test them that much. I know people have these big testing centers and stuff where they'll hand them out to like 50 people and get feedback. But I generally don't test them that much. It's more kind of like I'm better at FIFA in my head than I am with my hands. So like I know how to win at the game. I'm just not so good with the hands anymore. So I can't like win the game the way I want to. So tactics are kind of my way of like pretending I'm a good FIFA player, I suppose.
Yeah. Fair. I pretend I'm a good FIFA player all the time, so I'm on the pod.
Well, average.
Well, yes.
Very average.
Very, very average.
Do you know what I really like about that as well? Is the point you made about taking it into ultimate AI and kind of trying to be, because like you said, the reason you got into tactics was to beat your dad. And so you're constantly trying to improve and then beat this person. And that ultimate AI almost replaces your dad in that scenario. And it's like, once it finally works against the ultimate AI, it's like, yes, that's the seal of approval in a sense. And I like how that when you first started and to the present day, that's still kind of the underlying seal of approval, you know, just trying to
beat the best,
beat something that's better than you.
Yeah. It's about like, can I find a way to beat somebody better than me without? Can I beat somebody who's more skillful than me using tactics? And yes, I can. There's definitely I've beaten people, and I know that they've been so pissed and frustrated, and the rage quits that come, and it's just like, haha, you were so much better. You could do everything. You had tricks to flush. You could do that little dance in the middle of the park where you flip the ball over your head, but you still lost. So,
but you're still shit.
Yeah,
you got shit on.
Yeah.
I've got one with that actually, right? Because I've tested for Div 10 with a couple of his formations, and I get it. So I was thinking about this the other day. Could you go into a game of squad battles, put it on ultimate difficulty, but not play the game to watch how the tactics perform? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Or not? Would you get?
look into that.
I don't know. Would you get the benefit from it? Because I'm just thinking, if you set it up to watch the AI move it, because then you'll get to see exactly how the AI moves. To then see how.
Yeah. I mean,
or just go into like normal, just a normal game mode, I suppose, and play against a computer. Say play the same team, but put the tactics onto one team and not the other. If you see what I mean,
and let it play out. That makes way more sense than using the tactical camera to play games.
That's what I mean. I just don't know if it would be something that would be beneficial. I don't know.
It probably would be. Thanks, Mouse. Fucking fun. All these hours, man. Just hours upon hours of torture, and I could have just been auto playing and taking fucking notes.
You just select sides across, don't you?
No, I just thought you'd actually see how your AI moves then, wouldn't you?
No, you would. Yeah. AI movement's really important as well, and you can dictate that as well. And I don't think enough people know about like the double tap in RB to close down players in the box. Like I
preach this, yeah.
That's a lifesaver. Just have that and Virgil van Dijk, and just put Van Dijk into the most unnatural position for any central defender, which is nowhere near the goal and just on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he will get the ball every time.
So JP just said the words unnatural. Speaking of unnatural, RB Leipzig are currently beating Manchester City 2-0.
Jesus.
Wow.
Just, sorry, little segue there, but that's fucking strange.
No, it'll be 3-2 City, it's fine. They'll come back. They're a joke.
The problem with Peppers is that, like, to a disciplined team that can beat the offside trap on the high line, he's always vulnerable. That's why Klopp used to slap him up and down every time.
Maybe that's why Lois Apenda's just scored, because he's rapid.
As well. Yeah. That's his biggest problem. Like, that's how he's always undone. I don't know why more people don't do it. Oh, it's probably because they have 80% possession in a game, and you feel like death at the end of
Don't get a
it.
chance.
But it's probably because some managers aren't as tactically adept as you are, mate.
No. I'd like to say that Pep's learnt a lot from me, but it's the other way around. It's the other way around. The great lineage to Rinus Michels through Pep Guardiola and Johan Cruyff to me.
I was really not going to talk Newcastle are
Top
beating
three.
PSG as well. In
Oh,
PSG.
see, this is what we
What?
like to see.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I mean.
PSG bottling it in Europe is more natural, to be
Yeah,
fair.
That's
It
definitely a
is more
natural thing.
expected.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, this question's a bit of a funny one. How can testing work when gameplay is so hit and miss?
Well,
But obviously now you know how to properly test your tactics and just let the AI do it. Then I guess you could discount this question. But
yeah, I'm going to let the AI. I mean, Jesus Christ, if the AI can shoot, I can just watch FIFA all day.
you could.
It's good. It's good, and playing in bad gameplay is good as well because if your tactics are bally shoes, you know, and you've got to be able to spin on a pin, and you've got to be able to do everything so eloquently, and then turn into the fucking black swan and fall off at the end. Like, it ain't going to work in bad gameplay. You need something that's like combative, simple, and effective. Like, don't overcomplicate things. So many people overcomplicate things. Like, and the bad gameplay shows you like where the problems will be for people in bad gameplay. Good gameplay shows you how silky it can be. But if the tactic doesn't work in bad gameplay, the tactic's not going to work on FIFA. And that's that really. People can bitch and complain about it, but I think one of the biggest problems that I think people have with tactics is the not using the new defensive system. I don't know what it's called, but you've got a new defensive system like advanced defending or something. It gives you so much control when manoeuvring your centre backs to get them into positions to stop the breaks. And I think if more people learn how to do that and were better at one-on-ones, like, how many times have you played FIFA and or FC, whatever the fuck it's called, and you've just stood still and they've run into you? Like, they expect you to move, but if you just stay still, hold left trigger, take the ball, and just sort of stroll up the pitch with Van Dijk, like, you're having a great day. So,
or how many times have you played a game of FIFA and just run in a straight line? Because other people they think that you're going to move around. If you just run in a straight line, sometimes it works.
Have you met Sorloff? That's what he does.
Exactly.
Especially with that R1 dribbling.
Oh, that thing should be.
But no, there's a good counteract to that. Just R1 defend. Just R1 defend it. If they're doing the R1 dribble, just R1 defend it. It just cancels it out.
I do feel if I play against a really good player, they'll hold it long enough that my R1 defending will run out, even if I use it in bursts, and then that's when they'll just
but if you can flick to another player to change it, you can get it.
Yeah,
you can kind of thing, but because the amount of time I play people that are running around in circles in midfield because they've got no idea what to do, but it's the best way to stop the cutback is use the R1 because it would just stop. It just stops them running down the line. If you defend with the centre mid and then obviously use your right back to then cover the space, they just have to run around in circles. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Also,
sounds like me playing in real life.
Keep it in a straight fucking line. It's called the defensive line. Don't like if you run out and there's a hole behind you and you concede. It's not my tactics. It's you're an arsehole. I'm sorry.
It's the biggest problem people have, bringing out their centre halves, honestly.
Oh,
yeah, it's dangerous. Never defend with your centre halves.
It's insane.
So, JP, do you think, and be genuinely honest here, that tactics make a difference for the casual FIFA player?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think that giving people almost like a mini roadmap for ways to play the game, because there's many different tactics out there of many different ways of playing. Part of the reason why I ended up releasing my 4-1-2-1-2 was because I woke up at about 8:30 and I saw that Foot Pirate was going to release a 4-1-2-1-2, so I just shit the bed and tweeted it out.
I did see this. It came out the same day.
I was
didn't
like,
it?
"Oh
Yeah.
fuck! Fuck the pad!"
Yeah, straight out.
Right, and then it's a completely fucking different tactic and a different 4-1-2-1-2. So there's loads of ways to play. I think that, like, for example, I've seen Shane's tactics. And for me, like, if you were new at FIFA or FC24, those would be the tactics I would hand over, and I'd be like, play this way, okay? Let your players come back and defend. Like, let your players get forward. Make sure that you're defensively solid. 2 lines of 4, like just basic, simple principles of football. Basically, FIFA FC24 is like football in the 60s and the 50s. Like, I found this goal of Pushkas that's basically like a cutback goal, and it looks just like FC24. So, and even my 4-1-2-1-2 is just England from 1966.
To be fair, at those times, the wings were the best parts of the pitch. So they had to try and get it down the line as much as possible, because it was a fucking bog in the middle of the pitch, wasn't it? It was just
Yeah,
mud.
exactly.
So we'll just pretend that we're playing 1960s football now, and we'll probably enjoy the game a little bit more.
Shane remembers that well, surely.
Yeah.
Don't be mean.
It's just that's the biggest problem for me on the game. Like that is my weak point, is defending. So if I can just try and be as solid as I can at the back and cover myself, it just gives me more of a chance. Because that's where I go wrong all the time.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
diving in and stuff like that is one of the worst habits I've got.
That's a good point, actually. Like, worst habits is a good point, like, to talk about as well at some point. Go on.
Did you guys watch any of the stream yesterday?
Yes.
Any of the Twitch stream?
No.
If you, what I found was very, very interesting. I can't remember the two players I was watching, but they never press circle. They never press circle to tackle.
You never see him slide neither.
You don't see him slide. It's constantly intercept, or they run at the player or run with the player in order to take it off them. Never press the tackle button.
That's how I tackle all the time.
That is my downfall. My downfall is
that's mine, 100%.
pressing the button and trying to rush to get the ball back.
Two things for me is defending that I just can't seem to shake is diving in like circle or slide tackling and sprinting.
Yeah.
I sprint too much on my defence, and I just can't seem. One of the big ones that I had was when I was passing I was pressing triangle a lot. Well,
yeah.
And I've come out away from that now, and I do press X a hell of a lot more. But them two defensively, I just can't seem to fucking shake.
I always use R1 and X. I always use a driven pass. Constantly using the driven pass, because I just feel like, yes, apparently it decreases accuracy, but it goes straight to the player in half the time.
Much
Half
better.
the time. So it's constantly R1 and X every time I pass the ball.
That new finesse passing system or crossing system where you can see the little reticle needs to fuck off.
Precision passing.
I had precision shooting on, thinking I was like, yeah, man, I'm going to break this and I'm going to get into the game. And I was getting my ass kicked so much because I just kept on missing. Just kept on fluffing everything wide, man. It was so frustrating. So annoying. But yeah, that's the game. I suppose that's a good description of this year's gameplay. It's so frustrating because it can be good and has been good.
It's inconsistent. It's just the inconsistency of it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Extremely.
Yeah, agreed. So, Doc, have you had any tactics that have worked for you that you think are top tier, you've kept to yourself and not shared with the community?
No, never once.
You are so unselfish. What a man of the people.
No, I wouldn't. I get nervous releasing them because I hate the idea of people losing because of me. But when people win, I always think of them as winning for themselves. Like, I'm never like, haha, you won because of me. It's like, nah, man, you won because of you. Like, the tactics helped a little bit. No, I've never done anything like that. There's been loads of tactics that I've tried and I've sort of just left for people to go and try out and that have never been tried out that could be good, but I don't know whether or not they would be. Mostly it's just me wanting to find a way to make the game fun. And if I can do that, I'm happy. And if I can't do that, then I'm searching in frustration, because I'm not one of those. It's going to sound really. I don't want to sound egotistical. If I do, I apologize deeply. I don't try with people's tactics. Mostly because I don't want to steal their ideas. Like, I feel it's almost like reading your rival's book and being like, oh my God, that's such a great concept. I'm going to take that concept and do my own thing with it. It's like, I'd much rather release less content and bring out something that's mine and fresh than like be like, oh my God, this 3-4-2-1, which is a formation that I'm thinking about working on next. Like, oh, this 3-4-2-1 by Foot Pirates, fucking unbelievable, and it's the best thing ever. And oh, I'm just gonna change a few things, and then it's gonna make it mine. And it's like, I'd just rather do something that's mine, and just be like, yeah, this is mine, and I created it. And if you enjoy it, great. And if you don't, I'm sorry, I wasted your time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sense of fulfillment, I guess. In that sense.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like, at least you get like a sense of doing something good.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, because it's the same for me with like the League SBCs, because when people send me like screenshots of like insane pulls they've got, and they're like, thanks to you, I've been grinding these, and I think you jammy bastard, but I think, if you enjoy, if doing them because I've advised you to is making you enjoy the game, then brilliant. But then I'll have someone, I've done 10 runs and had nothing over 83, and I think, fucking, I'll give up. Just quit.
Yeah.
Quit the game.
But to be fair, whenever I do a League SBC and I don't get anything, I blame you. So
yeah, most would. But no, it's a good feeling when someone says, look, you're making me enjoy the game and stuff. It's a good feeling.
Do you know what's not a good feeling? A fucking terrible feeling is when somebody sends you their team they got 16-0 with, and it's like not one player would make, not your bench, the reserves in their team. And they're like, yeah, I used your tactic and it really elevated my game. And I'm like, yeah, I use my tactic and I get about 9 on a good fucking day. Like, and I've got some really good players. Like, you got gold players. You got Goldley out front. Fuck me.
What's wrong with Goldley out up front, mate? That is my striker.
When I come up against the gold team, they are the teams I fear the most.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. We don't have to
You
try
know
that.
you know the players are going to be sick.
Yeah.
You know it. Yeah.
Comes natural.
Although the way the game's going, man, with the way it's being released, like the gold teams could just be some guy that got it for like 80% off. So that there's going to be lots of fresh meat in Division 8.
To be fair, it was 50% off on Black Friday, wasn't it? So
whoa.
Yeah, it was down to like 28 quid, wasn't it?
It's half price on Black Friday, so people would have bought it either way.
It's November.
Loads of my mates didn't have the game, and they're all texting me now because they know I've got the Twitter account and the pod, and they're texting me now like, "Oh, look at my team! Look at my team!" I was like, "You literally have had the game 3 days. Like, how does this make any sense?" These 83 times 10s are killing me. Their teams are better than mine. I'm like, what is going on?
Man,
but hey,
talking pulls and stuff, I got Muller out of the icon pack. Has any of you guys used them?
No.
He is obscene. He's obscene.
Yeah.
He's exactly how I think Romario would be in game. He's fast. He's direct. He's got that sticky on where the ball just won't leave his foot.
Yeah.
And he has genuine like Muller moments where like the ball will bounce off the goalkeeper and he just happens to be there to knock the ball in and he's not offside. So he's quite expensive at the moment, but if you do get him out of an icon pack, don't be down like I initially was, because he's an absolute fucking animal. Got that goal, what's it called? Finesse shot plus. Yeah.
I'm actually watching someone that I'm banding in the Thunder Cup because I can, and someone's actually using him now as a loan. Is using his loan at the moment, and this guy's fucking terrible, but he looks all right.
Somehow you're winning.
No, I'm 5-0 down. My banded controller.
Right. Final question for you, Doc. If you could give the community or a new player or whoever one piece of advice regarding FC24, what would that piece of advice be?
Always wear a condom.
Be protected.
Yeah, every time you play the game, just put one on, just to be safe. because you don't fucking know what you're going to get from these whores.
You can guarantee that they will fuck you as well.
Mine would have
They
been
will
buy it on
fuck you.
Black Friday because it's half fucking price and wouldn't cost you £100.
No, seriously, if I could give one piece of advice, ratings don't mean that a player is good.
Yeah.
I like that. João Cancelo, gold card. Unbelievable, by the way. 86 rated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he probably is in Div 9, to be fair. I can imagine.
Hey, listen, Div 8's fucked. Listen, I hadn't played Rivals, and I'd gone down a few divisions because I'd been doing everything else, like, played 10 games with a women's team, played 10 games with a French women's team.
Yeah.
And I went in, I was like, Division 8. I was going to walk my way through this little number. And the first game, the dude had Mbappe. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
It's because people realise that Rivals is the most toxic game mode. They actually don't want to play
Shit.
it. So the good players, and we got ribbed for this last year. I was sandbagging like fuck last year. I was in Div 7 to make the friendlies easier, and I was flying through the friendlies as easy as pie. Thank you very much. This year, I'm in Div 7, and I'm losing 3 games out of 4.
I can't win in Div 6 either. It's tragic.
It's nuts.
The thing is, the cup rewards were better then as well.
This comes back to what I've said before. Like, it's not the game. For me personally, I don't find the game rewarding enough to get better than what I am at it. Like, I get my 11 wins in champs with a few games to spare. I don't see the point in pushing on because I don't think it's rewarding enough. Rivals, I don't see the point in going up the divisions because it's not rewarding enough for the graft the games are. I just don't think I just find it pointless. You may as well
Grinding
do what you do, get it done.
I think this is a
quickly.
mindset thing, though, because the problem is EA breed us to be rewarded for gameplay. Now, me and Azza both are playing COD currently. Right? He's playing zombies. I'm playing multiplayer.
Hang on, I'm unsure about the word breed us.
No,
I don't think I was bred by FA. FA by EA, in fact.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Or the FA. I don't think the FA had much involvement in my breeding either way.
You think what you want, but yeah, we're made to believe that you have to be rewarded to play a game and have fun, which is bullshit. And that's the problem. That's how they make the game feel through shit gameplay. Whereas we've been playing COD, you don't get anything out of it. We just go in there to kill people and have fun. That's it. That's the whole premise of playing COD. Some people want to, I get some wins to unlock attachments, but that's just to better my guns slightly in other ways. To be honest, I've got no clue what they do, half the attachments anyway. So I just play it for fun because I'm enjoying playing the game, regardless if I get slapped or I'm amazing. I have fun every single game, but in this game, you don't, and you're made to believe to have fun in this game, you have to be rewarded. But that's the wrong way of, me and JP spoke about this at length before on other games of why other FIFA games and Evo games specifically were so good is because they were fun and you had to graft to play the game. And that was Shane, you played it as well. It was a real graft to play them games to even score goals. But it was fun. But, we didn't live in a world where we're now forced to get rewards, and this game isn't rewarding. I totally agree, it's not rewarding. It's not rewarding enough, but it's bad that this game has to be rewarding to be fun. That's the main issue with what this.
But that's down to EA. Yeah, like you say, that's down to EA. The promo cards and stuff like that. You've got 94 Dino and stuff. You're going to want to try and get them, but you don't. That's the thing. And let's be honest. I mean, I can probably speak for most people when I say the game's not really enjoyable. We play it because it's the only football game, and we have to get that football fix. That's how I look at it, as well as doing the podcast with you guys, the socials on Twitter and stuff. Otherwise, I would not play this game anymore.
No, I think you feel very similar to a hell of a lot of people. I mean, some people will hide behind and still banging the drum that the game's good, but it's. I think it could be a very good game, but it's so inconsistent. Like, it's so inconsistent.
And just to come back to your earlier point, you were talking about playing COD and zombies, and those kind of games. You don't get pissed at them games because the lifespan of your character is so short. So you go out, you do your thing, you die, you respawn, you come back, you do your thing, you die, you respawn, you come back, you might kill someone, you feel good about it because you've done something good in the game. What the respawn on FIFA is 16 minutes. Like, so you have to ask yourself the question of like, is it a better mentality to quit out at 2-0 after 20 minutes and just go fuck it and then go into another game and win than to stay in that game trying to win it and then have 16 minutes of frustration followed by probably another game that's going to be even worse than that one because you're pissed. So
I know what you mean, but I'm too stubborn. Like, I even have it in COD. If someone's camping, I don't care if I die 400 times. I'm going to kill him. Regardless of one point, and that's that. And I think I have that mentality with FIFA. If I'm 3-0 down, I'm still in this. Even though I could be getting slapped like 3-0 in 10 minutes, I'm still in it. I'm not quitting because I'm still in the game, and I shouldn't do that. And that's my own fault for being too stubborn. But
particularly with like rivals, some people like have got kids and stuff. They might be able to get on a couple of hours a night in like 2 nights a week. If you jump on for an hour or two and draw 3 or 4 games of rivals, you've gained nothing. You've literally wasted an hour and a half of your time because you get nothing from draws. You stay where you are. You don't get any rewards for it. So it's just like what is the
there you
point?
go. The one piece of advice from the Lengthy Lads podcast is quit at 2-0.
yeah, just quit at 2-0. Maybe even 1-0.
I like to think if I go 9 times out of 10, whether it be rivals, champs, qualifiers, I think I know in the first 10 minutes of a game if I'm going to win or not. I
100%.
genuinely believe that.
I think you're right, but I'd still carry on.
I genuinely believe 9 times out of 10 I'll know if I'll win that game or not.
Do any of you need to be punched in the face in a game before you get going? Like, does it like I'll start a game and I'll just be like, I'm so fucking good at dribbling. I got my R1 and on. Oh, I'll take that ball with the elbow. Oh, fuck, he's through. I probably shouldn't have been doing that with my centre back. And then they score and it's like, you motherfucker, now I've got to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel.
It might just be me, but I just know. I just 10 minutes into like I was doing a couple of cup games before I come on here, and I went into one. I went 2-0 down in like 18 minutes, but I knew I could win that game quite comfortably, and I ended up beating him 5-2. And that's why I stayed in it because I just knew I would get back into it and score.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
for me, it's so predictable. Like I can tell when I'm going to win or when I'm going to lose.
Do you ever get them moments in games where like you've conceded the cutback once, maybe twice, but now you know what they're going to do, so that's locked off. Like you're not scoring that goal again. Do you ever just find yourself laughing when they've got the ball in the middle of the pitch and they don't quite know what to do? They're like, "What do I pass it forward? Do I run with it? What do I do?" And it's like you're going to get the ball taken off you, and I'm going to score.
This is my ball now.
Yeah. You're now my bitch. Here's your collar.
Yeah.
Your name's Rex.
So, gents, we've had the Q&A with JP. He's thrown us a lot of information there to get, dig our teeth into. But I want to talk about the Black Friday, Thunderstruck, Footies 2.0, bloody store pack, promo pack, bullshit promo that we've got going on at this very moment in time. Are you enjoying it? Are you happy with it? How do you feel about the content? What are your opinions? We'll start with the guest. JP, what are your opinions on the promo?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? It feels a bit like it's got an element of foot fantasy to it, with the way that things can go IRL, which is a nice parallel to the cards that came before it, which are to do with matches digitally, where cards can be upgraded based upon pro performance. I think it's a really good promo when it's created a lot of problems for people in terms of like what midfielders to use and who to use where. I think it's made people feel much more involved in the game because it seems that pack weight's been really generous and that people are getting not necessarily a lot of the higher rated cards, but they're certainly getting the 85s, the 84s and the 86s. And Bernardo Silva, if you've done enough player picks, you'll get him at some point as well. I think it's a really good promo. I think that the packs in store have really surprised me that they're mostly tradable. It's something I didn't expect them to do, and I don't know whether or not that's because they haven't been getting the same level of reception to untradeable packs versus, say, coin packs. So that's the thing that's concerning to me. As somebody who's a trader who like invests in players, like them changing their pack strategy affects the market. So you could end up losing a lot of coins if all of a sudden 84s become massively abundant. But the promo's good. It's exciting. Daily logins. I mean, it's just the standard promo template. Is it only 1 week, or is there another one after this?
Just one, I think.
I think it's
isn't it?
1 week.
1 week.
I'd like to see more of these 1 week promos. I like the idea of a 1 week promo, limited cards, makes the cards more interesting. I also think with the way that the promos have gone and with play styles, that each promo does bring something exciting in the way that, like, if they drop a new play style on a player, it can totally change everything about them. Like if they gave Futra, took his dribble off him and gave him finesse shot, then he'd just be unplayable. So I think that this campaign's done a really good job of boosting the best of the players they've picked and giving us something to keep interested in terms of the real world game combined with the digital game. So I think it's a good promo. Well, what do you think?
I am a big fan, personally. Apart from the fact that EA are money grabbing bastards and everything they're doing with the store. Azza, let's go to you. What do you think about the promo?
Firstly, I think the card design is fucking sexy.
Yeah, it is.
One of the best card designs we've had in a very long time. I love the idea of live cards. I think we should have more. I think we should have more 1 week promos with more live cards. I do prefer the live cards. Just adds that little bit of football to it for me, and keeps the game fresh. Stops things from the players that I enjoy using. If they can get a couple of upgrades, I can use them for longer than I would normally be able to use them for. The whole store situation, I've had my dark days with EA where I've spent hundreds a week on it, and the last 2-3 years I've been RTG, haven't spent a single penny on it outside of buying the game. So I'm not surprised. I don't even look in the promo section. I have obviously the last 2 days for the 10 coins and the 30 coins. And that's because I'm seeing iGod Squad Gaming tweet every time that they come up. So that kind of helps keep the temptation away. So I only really use the preview pack in the store side. A little bit like what JP said there. I'd like to see more 1 week promos. I don't like them being longed out for 2 weeks, and you get what you think is going to be one of the best cards of the promo, and then there's another week, and it's like, oh well, actually this was really shit, and now I'm going to lose coins and whatnot on it. So yeah, 1 week promos, bring me more of them, but don't give me that stupid radioactive card design next, because that is disgusting.
That is disgusting. Looks like someone has literally just vommed on an Ultimate Team card.
I don't want to play the game, and it's not even out yet because of that card design. It generally gives me the ick, as the kids would say.
It looks like a pack of sweets from the 90s.
Oh, the waste barrels. Those
Toxic
nuclear
waste.
barrels. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Toxic waste, yeah.
Toxic waste. Toxic waste were decent. Shane, what about you?
I think credit where due with regards to like the 10 coin and the 30 coin packs. I think we need them more. It's nice. People enjoy that sort of thing, but they won't stick with it because people enjoy it. Apart from that, the store itself has been an absolute disgrace. We've had a lot of stuff, and it's been easier. It's made it easier for me to grind Dalgleish, to be honest. You could probably say a bit overwhelming with how much we've had. So I thought it was important to kind of know what grind I was going to do because there's that many options. So for me, it was League SBCs into the 78 picks and then into the 1083s and the 85 picks. I thought it was important to put something out to basically say, don't spend money in the store if you can't afford to, just to try and do everything that's available, because there is too much. I've not even been able to do everything grinding what I have done. But I think people sometimes feel like because it's there, they've got to do it. Like the 84 doubles, the 85 doubles, the 1083s every day, and it's just not that it's not going to happen. You can't. It's impossible to do all of that. So I just thought it was important to put something out there to say don't feel like you have to. I like the promo. Yeah, the card designs I think is class. I think the weight has been very, very good compared to previous promos. Like JP says, not with the higher ratings, but you're seeing a lot of specials now with the best of impacts as well. Yeah, it's a thumbs up from me. Thumbs up from me.
Shane, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Just to the other guys here as well. Do you? I mean, credit to EA. Do you feel that they've given us the tools to achieve the goals of player SBCs that we didn't have, say, 3-4 weeks ago? Like, they've given us the player picks, they've given us the 83 times 10. I think some of the other ones are a bit dubious, that may be a bit of a coin sink. But I feel like the 83 times 10, the 78 plus player pick, and the league SBCs, which have been made a lot easier, they've essentially given us the tools that if you are going to put some grind in, that you can get some higher rated players, and you might be able to do the gamble SBCs like the hero or the icon SBC, because of the tools that they've given us, which is normally something they don't do. So again, I don't know whether or not they're a headless chicken or an evil corporation at this point. But I just wondered what you thought about that, particularly Shane. Like, do you feel you've got the tools to be able to craft what you need to?
100% with this one. Providing, like, I put a lot of time into the league, so I'm gaining a lot of players back, some to go back into the league SPCs, then the non-league to go into the player picks. The player picks for me are always the best because these 78s, I don't think I've rarely had less than an 83 rated out of them. And a lot of these player picks and the upgrades that they've released every day only require 83s and 84s. So you're already generating them. And because I was doing Dalglish, a lot of his squads were like 88s, 89s. So then your 85s and your 86s that you're packing can then go into the Hero SBC or like the mixed campaign ones. So I think they've done it perfectly this time because you've got different SBCs for all the different ratings that you're getting. From 83 to like say 86, but there is a lot. Like I've not touched the 84 doubles because I just found it impossible to get that many cards back to do all of them. I was kind of sticking to the 85 player picks and then the 85 doubles just to try and give me a chance of getting that higher rated fodder for Dalglish.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to completely agree with Shane there. I think fair play to EA. They have given you the tools to basically do, I guess, as much as humanly possible. It's always going to be impossible unless you have ridiculous amount of liquid coins or disposable income to do everything on the game. It's physically impossible, logistically impossible. However, massive props in my opinion to EA for the promo because it's the first time this week that I've actually been excited about the game for a while. And I mean, it shouldn't be like that on, what is it, November the 28th. But that's such is the modern world of FC24. But that for me, I've just got to give them some.
I think I will, but my issue, obviously, I agree with everything. There's no point in me going back over what you guys have just said because I think you're right with what you've said. But my issue is that this feels like an Azza's weekend. That's my best analogy of this. Azza knows where I'm going with this. So yeah, so you know, you have a great time, yeah, you've pulled some bangers, everything like that, right? But then we've seen him in the group chat on a Sunday afternoon, and he's a fucking train wreck. Yeah, and he can't concentrate, and he's hung over the fuck, and he's just a mess. And I've got a horrible feeling next week is going to feel exactly like Azza's Sundays. That's my concern because we shouldn't have 83 times 10s during November. It's obscene when you think about it that we've got 83 times 10s currently 2 months into a game cycle. It's insane. And I think it's going to hit very hard next week because everyone's going to be up in arms going, wow, I can't get any fodder, but everything like that. I guarantee it. I can see it happening now. because we're going to take all of that away. We'll be back to just League SBCs. We'll have one upgrade, and people will start panicking again because they can't get that reward that's been instilled in us that we have to play the game. People like Shane, that'd be fine because you'll just keep grinding the League SBCs, but the other people that are relying on this nonsense fodder that we're getting are going to get a real rude awakening next week, and it's going to get a bit, exactly.
Especially
It's going to get very feisty on
doing
Twitter
Mbappe.
next week because people won't people won't understand it that we're going to go back to normal. Or it's like we've had a weekend in Vegas and we've had an unlimited pot of money in Vegas, and now we're flying back home to fucking 0 degrees shit wank weather, and that's and it's going to hit home quite hard next week.
It's basically an episode of The Hangover.
Are you still talking about FIFA or just as
Mate,
life?
honestly, on a Sunday,
I think it's both.
Hilarious. Sundays are hilarious.
thing is,
This is like the start of an intervention. Not the intervention itself, but just the beginnings of it.
His Friday and Saturday outweighs his Sunday afternoon, so he's all right.
massively. Especially the one that just went by, because that was literally how it was. From Friday till Sunday, But it's their way of the people who bought the game for 50% off. It's their way of them catching up with us, isn't it? I wonder how many people bought the game for 50% cheaper and then thought, well, I would have bought it for this much anyway. Why not just pull that extra bit onto FIFA points, and then I'll open these mad packs and then all these SBCs. Yeah, so they're probably going to have a bigger crash than us, because they're going to be like, well, this isn't what I fucking signed up for. This isn't what it was like last
This isn't
week.
what I signed up for, and I've got no fucking money left.
Yeah, we're almost like that James Franco meme with a noose hanging around us, and we're like, what, first time? We're used to it. Whereas these noobs, they're going to be like, shit, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, 'tis a wise man that does not put an 87 into an 84 SBC. 'Tis a wise man.
Or Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
How'd you feel, Shane?
Which one?
No, I don't want to talk about it.
No, it's better.
Trailblazer?
Player of the month.
Do you know what? It's one less problem for you to have in midfield.
Not. I've kept it quiet as well, but not only that, I've chucked Gold Allison in as well.
I did that yesterday, but then I got him back out.
But it could be worse. You could be putting an 85 rated player into a gold players pack.
I don't know. I did a 92 rated squad into a gold upgrade last year, so I don't think it's much worse than that.
Yeah, I've done a similar thing last year. That was terrible. It made me turn the game off and just go and sit on my sofa in silence. I was so distraught when that happened. I didn't know I didn't even reply to my texts. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I've spent months on this game and I've just put all these players in here for a gold upgrade. Oh, I was devastated.
What'd you get out of it?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, Jesus.
I think it's on my draft somewhere on YouTube Shorts. I'll have to find it.
I love it. I
just went silent. Oh, I couldn't cope.
Right, boys. Final topic of the pod. It's been a long one. It's been a very enjoyable pod, but
yeah, it has.
We still got one topic that we need to discuss. Gameplay. Boys. I honestly cannot believe I'm saying this, because I'm usually a shut the fuck up about bad gameplay kind of guy. However, Lord, I have been converted, because I cannot tell you how weird the gameplay has been over the course of the last week. I've had slow games, I've had fast games, I've had laggy games, I've had passes going astray that are like 2 yards out that I'm pointing forwards and they're going backwards. I've had free kicks where the guy's facing in the wrong direction and whipping a cross in. I've had goals scored that shouldn't have gone in. I've had goals conceded that shouldn't have gone in. I've had the lot. And I think I'm going to start with Shane, because I can imagine he's going to need a little bit of time here to vent. Anybody there's only the 4 of us in the group chat, but if anybody sees the group chat, most of the time it's Shane putting, this game's fucking shite, or I can't play this game, or oh my god, I'm going to give up. I'm thinking about giving up, lads. I can't do it. The game's shit. So, Shane, the floor is yours now, mate.
What it is for me is that I used to rage. I keep saying it. I've rarely ever complained about gameplay. I never have. I've never had an issue with it. But just lately, it is absolutely on its knees, and to the point where I've started raging again like I used to, and it ain't good. I should not be. I'm a fully grown man, and I shouldn't be doing it. I'm playing games where I'm 3-0 down because my keeper saved it and he's passed it back to them, like with a save. It's rebounded back to them every single time. Like, it never falls to my defender. It goes to their attacker and he just taps it in. And like stray passes, I'm hoping this semi, now I've changed it, will help. But it's just, I can't. This weekend league, I've switched between old and new gen 3 times because I just can't seem to. I'm just hoping that one will be better, but they're just both as bad as each other at the minute. And it's just, I can't get into this habit again of flipping breaking controllers and punching tellies because I'm too old for that now. That's where I'm at.
Should play Spider-Man instead. JP, what do you think?
I've noticed that. I mean, last few days I've noticed things like pressing buttons and them not registering, which has really been like pressing through balls that didn't goes through balls, or like having my player just do something odd, like just slightly shimmy to the left and move forward. And it's like, I didn't do any of that. And I've tested my pad. I've used a different pad that's new as well, and that one's having the same problems. And I'm like, how I can't even interact with the fucker. Like, I can't even press the interactions to make them work. Like, why is it like this? And then the thing that was killing me the most was just the number of bounce backs and the way in which the physics of the ball just seemed to be obscene. It was like the pressure being put on the ball by the footballer was making the ball go in weird directions and do weird things. I found that players in the attacking third would just stop and not move forward, and that made no sense to me at all. And the stuttering stop-start gameplay it's been impossible to do anything other than the simplest of things, like just passing the ball forward. Like, that's about as much as you can get out of the game at the moment. And I'm really concerned about it because every time they patch it, it gets a little worse. And I know that that's like an old EA joke, like only EA could patch a game and make it worse. But I'm really worried about that because I do enjoy playing the game.
It's on a slightly downward spiral, and we are in November.
Yeah.
So that's quite shocking and quite worrying, 100%.
Yet you've got the best team you've ever had in November.
Exactly.
Fair point.
Which is weird.
And the most coins I've ever had in November as well.
Yeah.
But if you were actually a big man, you'd go and open some store packs.
I weigh 10 stone, mate. I'm not a big man. Azza, what do you think, mate?
I think we have painted a mental picture of our group chat for starters.
Yeah.
But one of the first things I thought at the start of this pod, right, was there was a slight comment about gameplay. And for those keen listeners out there, for the first time, I noticed that Shane didn't give us a warning that he never normally complains about gameplay before he complained about his gameplay. So that's when I knew the gameplay was mudded. Because if we didn't get the little warning off Shane, then we know it's bad. And like we've touched on it on a couple of topics throughout the pod. It's the inconsistency of it as well. It's so bad. They've made a boatload of money over the weekend. None of that will go towards better infrastructure and just making the gameplay experience better. And it's just always the same. It's the same conversation every cycle, and it's like,
Azza, I think you're missing the most important point, which is that there's 15,000 new animations.
15,000 terrible animations. Yeah,
you know. Does that not get you hard? Does that not get you up in the morning with the morning
not get
wood?
me lengthy.
No, it doesn't, does it?
But isn't it bizarre though? You've just said there how many thousand animations, and how often do we see the same ones over and over again? The same bummy animations, the same. Anytime I go and do anything first time, you get the little worm burner pass that comes off the bottom of your player's studs. You've held R1 and X all the way down, and your player's passed it about 4 centimeters. It's it's just terrible. The gameplay's, like I said, we've talked about it there. We've all had crazy little bugs, and fortunately, I had a weekend off of it, which is why I'm able to smile for the week until Friday. But yeah, I've just accepted it for what it is. It's just shit.
Oh my god, you sound like a dude 24 years into a marriage.
Thinking of Az's life, marriage is not on the cards. Jeez.
No,
No,
definitely
no
not. If any marriage in my life, it's not me that's wearing the ring.
It's fucking 24 hours with. Do you know what? Right, I'm with Rob. I've not really. I don't very rarely moan about gameplay, but like yesterday, I played yesterday, and Rival. I was trying to do Saul off to get him upgraded, and it summed it up for me that I was playing a game. I was 2-0 down, but I thought, oh my god, I'm playing much better than this, everything like that, right? And I went, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go and attack the wings. Scored 2 goals in a matter of 30 seconds, and I scored 2 cutbacks, and I was like, for fuck's sake, honestly, like. It just shows that it's, I was trying to play just normal game, everything like that, and then just went, oh, bollocks, I'm just going to go and get 2 cutbacks, get straight back in the game. And it shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't have a cheat button that you pretty much just press in, because that generally was like a cheat, just to go and quickly do that. And that's the most frustrating thing, that I want to play my game. And I've said to the boys, I said that this is the first FIFA I've ever played that I am struggling to play my own game. Like, I'm having to manufacture gameplay to fit how the game is playing, which I don't want to do. That's my biggest gripe of this game. I want to play my way and get the results I want to get, which I've never had a problem with before, but I can't do in this game because of how overpowered some of these meta tactics are. That's my issue.
Yeah.
And I'm really struggling with it at the moment.
I think anyone who releases like dirty tactics like that are just basically how to get down the wing and cut back, they're kind of arseholes, because
it's TikTok. It's fucking TikTok that's ruining the world.
That's preaching kind of like hate within the game, because then it becomes like, it's not necessarily like you're playing FC24. It's more like you're like, oh, how to solve this puzzle in 15 easy steps. Like it's exactly. Not. I don't see how you're getting fun out of it or enjoyment, and it's just weird to see people wanting to play the game that way, consistently play the game that way, to the point where you just know exactly what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. And I don't know how you stop it tactically, by the way, without using a 5-back. And even when you use a 5-back, you have to put your left and right centre-backs on conservative interceptions. Otherwise, they'll chase after the wide players. So even then, it doesn't work. So it's something within the game, and I don't understand why the defensive AI cannot pick that up, yet the defensive AI can do everything fucking else like it's the Terminator.
Yeah.
I even had a couple of co-op games with my brother last week, and he's a good player. Like he could comfortably get 18, 19 wins in champs every week, and it was just we got two wins, and I just was like, I can't play this anymore. I just cannot play it. It was that infuriating, like bounce backs, like you say, and just it doesn't do what you press and tell it to do. Like it doesn't. It's frustrating because it's not doing what you're trying to do, and it seems to just go against you. Like whatever you try and do something to play football or be positive, and it seems to like go against you. Like you suffer because of it.
But having said all that, when it does come together, when you do get the passes flowing, when the ball is hitting the back of the net, and you know that you've scored a great goal, it's what gets you back into it.
Yes.
And to me, Bertie, you really seem like a real sort of like emotional player. That when it's going against you, you're like, oh, fuck this game. And when it's going well for you, you're like, oh, it's finally coming together for me. And 100%. I think that's 100% of everybody's FIFA experience, is that like there's going to be times when the game's going to be frustrating and you're going to be pissed. Then there's going to be times when somebody else is going to be frustrated and pissed because you're getting the bounce of the ball and it's going well for you. And occasionally you might beat somebody because you're better than them. And it's those moments, those enthusiastic moments that keep you excited, that get you podcasting, that get you wanting to be engaged in the game, whether it's on the app or whatever it may be. So that's the part for me that really pisses me off the most. Like, it can be done. Your game can function. Things can be done to make it more effective. You can stop fullbacks and centre backs from stepping up immediately and leaving gaps behind them. Like, you could make these changes. And if they did and made the game a little bit more consistent, then we would take all this other shit on the chin and be like, at least I can play the game.
I fully appreciate that it's a game at the end of the day. It's not real. It can't be realistic. 100%.
What? It's not real.
But some of the stuff you see and that goes against you and stuff, it really, me anyway, makes me think, what am I doing playing this? Why am I wasting my time? But like you say, when it goes your way, it's brilliant. You love it. You want to play another game. It just has you like that. You can go back and forth with it.
What it is for me as well, like, I feel like great players, like you guys are all great players. You're all getting great results in Weekend League, and it's like you should be inspired by this game to be pushed for those extra victories. Like, the rewards for 12, 13, 14 onwards should be so fucking enticing that it's like, I've got to play these games. I don't care if I'm 11-0. I've got to win these games. And it's that level of engagement that would keep people like yourselves in the game, in the Weekend League. Like, oh, you're going to get a 1 of 85 plus promo player pick for every stage you go up the ladder. Like, people would be hammering the shit out of Weekend League. There would be no freebies. But I think that it would help give people more enjoyment than they get, and people do get enjoyment out of this game. I love this game. I've always loved this game. It's just frustrating. I don't know. It's like a disappointing son, you know? Like, you should have been something, but you're not, and it's kind of my fault, but okay, we'll work through it.
Wonder if my parents said that about me.
No.
I look at Az as a prime example.
Of what?
I think you could say, like, you could sit and get 16 wins comfortably in champs, I think. But last weekend, you didn't even want to play it.
It's the desire at the moment.
I'm
glad you meant that and not the...
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I laughed because I thought Shane was saying that Adam was a prime example of parents being upset with this.
I was thinking, whoa, I've become the generational change in my family, and then this is what I get.
Somewhere there's a mum crying into a vermouth.
I can get my 11 wins, and if the rewards are shit, I can deal with it. But I just don't really like. I had every intention of trying to push for 14 this week, and it just I was 8-2 and cruising, and then it just changes, and I went to 8-6, and I just think one of the losses was fine. He was a better player than me, and I can deal with that. But when you're losing to just crap, and I just think, I can't be. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
The difference between the tiers in that area of rewards, 11, 14, 16, is so minimal that it's an extra 85, and then let's say like 40,000 coins spread from the one to the other. I'd almost rather just not even get that extra coin balance, because I don't really care for coins on the game, but just that reward incentive, that 85 plus promo player or something like that, you know, it's not worth it. It's such a minimal gain that it really isn't worth it. It's like doing 12 81 plus picks compared to doing 13 81 plus picks. You're probably just going to get an extra 83 or 84. So is it really worth an hour?
My best rewards this champs is from the first week when I got 9.
Exactly. It says it all.
Like, comfortably. Like, I'm talking like 150k extra coins more.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
My first champs was 650k Rudy Voller. First champs, and then I haven't had anything from him since. Not that I've played it.
You haven't played it since.
Not that I played it too much.
Yeah, they're trying to get you to actually play the game rather than just play the app.
What the fuck did you get in a preview pack? Shut the fuck up.
Mate, crazy, isn't it?
Like, oh, I've not had anything since.
Yeah, well, since yesterday. although I am trying to do some stuff on the app at the moment, and I think I'm SBC banned. because
Since yesterday.
because it keeps saying failed to submit challenge. It's doing my head in. Oh, no, I've gone on the web app and it works now. So,
We gotta love EA infrastructure and its failure to do anything but process finances.
ridiculous.
That's the other son, that is. That's the entitled son. I haven't had anything since yesterday. That's the youngest.
Love it.
I'll be
Love
the
it.
entitled son. Let's go play with Az's bits. Over to you, the Welsh wizard himself.
He's
Thank
Welsh.
you very much. I am indeed.
I thought you were Geordie.
No. What? I mean, I might sound like a Geordie on a Saturday night, but
Depends who you're trying to pull.
yeah, I'll be whatever they want me to be.
I'll be whatever you want, baby.
Yeah.
You can
Well-
talk to me all night.
Speaking of Geordies, the first game of the 5 on Azza's unnamed bit is Newcastle versus Manchester United. We've got Chelsea versus Brighton. We've got Liverpool versus Fulham. We've got City versus Spurs. We've got Leeds versus Middlesbrough. And we've got 5 very handsome lads that are going to try and predict the outcomes of these matches. So I'm going to give JP the benefit of being a guest and come to you last, so that you've got just a little bit more time to think. And I'm just going to go from left to right on my screen and start with the legend himself, Annoying Mouse. So if I could get your predictions for the Newcastle versus Manchester United game.
2-1 Newcastle.
Smashing. Chelsea versus Brighton.
1-0 Chelsea.
Liverpool versus Fulham.
3-0 Liverpool.
City v Spurs.
6-0 City.
Leeds versus Middlesbrough.
Well, funnily enough, Middlesbrough 4-0 up. Well, they actually won 4-0 this
They did.
evening. So we're going to go...
Fuck you, Ryan.
Fuck you, Ryan. 3-0
Yes.
to Borough.
I absolutely love it. And if I could trouble you for your predicted minute.
7.
Ooh. That's
And I'd also like to state that City are now 2-2.
They
so
are.
3-2's coming
They are
back.
indeed.
So.
maybe that's what encouraged you to go 6-0 City. Right, we're going to move to the right, which is myself. So I'll get mine done fairly quick. I'm going to go Newcastle 2, Manchester United 1, Chelsea 2, Brighton 2, Liverpool 3, Fulham 1, City 4, Spurs nilch. Fuck you, Spurs. Leeds versus Middlesbrough, I've gone for 2-0 Leeds, and I've gone for a cheeky little 6th minute before Mouse even said his 7th. So I've gone for a cheeky little 6th minute, and I'm even going to predict that it'll come from Manchester City. Moving to the next handsome man, we've got Shane Burt himself. If I can get your prediction for the Newcastle and Manchester United game, please, mate.
2-1 Newcastle.
Oof. Got some similar ones in here this week. Chelsea versus Brighton.
1-1.
Liverpool versus Fulham.
3-1 Liverpool.
City v Spurs.
4-1 City.
Oof. Leeds versus Middlesbrough.
2-2.
And your cheeky little minute of the first goal.
First.
First. Whoa, first.
First minute. That's
Okay, that is outrageous. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's giving Spurs a chance. So let's see if Ryan wants to go and give Spurs a chance. If we could get your Newcastle versus Manchester United.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 stalemate.
1-1 stalemate. Chelsea versus Brighton.
2-1 to Chelsea.
Liverpool v Fulham.
3-1 Liverpool.
City versus Spurs.
3-1 City.
Ooh, and Leeds v Middlesbrough.
My heart says 2-1 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds. Wow. And what minute does your heart say the first goal across those matches is going to come in?
I am going to go for the 9th minute.
9th. So we got 1, 6, 7, 9. Right. And now, JP, you have the disadvantage in the minute sense, but the advantage in being able to hear our scores. If I could trouble you for your Newcastle versus Manchester United score, I'm guessing you're going to go with the away team there.
Well, I mean, Newcastle have had Europe midweek, and even though they're at home, they're still going to be a bit fucked up from that, given the depth of their squad. So I think they'll be tired, and I can see United winning 1-0 probably in the last 20 minutes.
It's what they do best.
Yeah.
Chelsea v Brighton.
I think that this will be 2-1 to Brighton.
2-1 to Brighton. It's a good shout, to be fair.
Yeah.
And Liverpool versus Fulham.
Liverpool always seem to have problems at Fulham. Bit like United, where they go down there and they turn up for the day.
It's at Anfield, I think.
Oh, is it Anfield?
Remember,
Oh,
yeah.
right. 3-0 Liverpool.
3-0 Liverpool. Sweet. A big change there.
Love that.
And then, of course, City at home v Spurs.
Again, City have had Champions League, but they've got more depth to their squad, and Spurs play that crazy fucking line that Postecoglou thinks is like going to change the world. So I can see City punishing them, but I can also see Spurs getting goals. So I'm going to go with 4-2.
Sweet. Yeah, City got those 100 players, and Spurs got that 100 depth. And then, last but not least, the Leeds at home versus Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough to win 17-0.
I hope that one comes in more than anything I have ever hoped for. I would love that.
On that now.
I SBC'd that Leeds player so fast.
Mate, Rutter is staying in my club forever.
Rutter should be rutting.
Hey,
Staying in
and
my
then
club forever.
if we could then get the minute, which I'm guessing is probably going to come from the 17 that Middlesbrough score of the first goal across the 5 that you would predict.
All right, if I'm trying to think about me Soccer Saturday, 3rd minute.
Sweet, that's very nice. So you'll almost directly be going head to head with Ash in a sense. So as our second guest, you've got the chance to overtake Ash, who I could be wrong, I believe had 3 points. That's just going off rogue memory. So yeah, you could have the opportunity to
If I'd known there was
him.
competition, I'd have gone on some fucking research. I'd have been looking into it. How does this guy play in the rain?
or the snow, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do their fullback stay back while attacking?
Cam stays forward. Doesn't like JP's tactics.
Yeah.
No.
That 100 width.
People, thank you so much for joining us for this longer bumper episode of the Lengthy Lads podcast, made even lengthier by the Fut Doc coming on and joining us. JP, thank you so much for coming on, mate, and chewing the fat or foot with us today. But for now, in the words of Richard Osman from Pointless, it's goodbye from them, and it's goodbye from me.